Welcome to Free Beer Friday, powered in part by Classic of Denton.
Wow, thanks for joining us again on Free Beer Friday here at Denton Radio. I'm Ben Easley, your host from Bearded Monk. Today, I've got Lindsay and Andy from Great Raft Brewing right here. All right, so we've been having some beers.
We have.
We've been talking about beers.
Yeah.
I guess we haven't gotten into why Great Raft.
Living in D.C. Shreveport's our hometown,
Okay.
and we were living in D.C. for a while. To bring a brewery back to our the closest brewery was actually in Downtown. But, you know, Lindsay and Andy's brewery didn't sound very, that really paid homage to our hometown. So the Great River, and it was a log jam that was so dense you could walk across it in the 1830s. It was 150
Yeah, okay, so that's huge.
filled with logs and debris. Yeah, so
Over the years, it just collected and kind of blocked the
log jam. A man by the name of Henry Miller Shreve came in and cleared the log jam in the 1830s. They named
Today.
It was the beginning of a prosperous time for craft beer, and it was the beginning of a prosperous time for the area. Really started some economic growth in the Northwest Louisiana region. So we hope that
you had a waterway to deliver goods now, right? Yeah.
So we hope that Great Raft Brewing is the beginning of a prosperous time for craft beer in our area. So that's really the correlation.
Right on.
And want to just pay homage to our hometown a little bit.
historic reference, if you will. Sure.
I like this. That's a good homage to the city you're in, right?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Well, so how many breweries are we looking at in Shreveport right now?
There are only two, and we are the 9th in the state, and we're up to about 33 in the state now. But most of that growth is down south in the New Orleans, Baton Rouge area. Yeah, so we have a long way to go, but we're getting there.
Right on. Man, I'm trying to think of other things that we could talk about.
Well, the brewery itself is a really cool spot. I mean, Shreveport, again, is kind of a little bit behind in terms of the craft beer scene. Here in the DFW area, you guys have a lot of breweries, a lot of tasting rooms, things like that. So we're really the first of our kind in Shreveport, being the first since Prohibition. Shreveport actually went dry 10 years before Prohibition, so we got a jump start on everybody.
If that's not mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
they hated alcohol so much, they were like, let's preemptively cut this off right now.
Yes.
And I've always thought the South as being kind of the final American frontier for craft beer. We've got a long way to go. We're catching up with the rest of the nation in terms of the breweries per capita and volume and things like that. So it's just starting to pick up here in the South, and we're proud to be at the forefront of that.
Right on. Yeah, you guys are leading the edge, right? That's awesome. Well, so how big is this brewery?
In terms of capacity, we've probably got 10 to 12,000 barrels of capacity. In our first year, we did. Our first year we did 3,000 barrels, and this past year we did about 6,000. So we've got some room to grow. But yeah, we have a lot of beer to make. We want to share our beer with as many people in the South as possible. So we're working on that every day.
Awesome. God, 3,000 barrels
in
the first year.
Shreveport was ready. It's not a huge city, but it's not small either. About 200,000 people. When we doubled down, I think after our first 2 or 3 quarters of business in terms of we were not ready. But we built more tanks and caught up pretty fast. So I think finally after 3 years we're finally caught up to where we want to be in terms of fulfilling Shreveport and taking care of our home.
You've grown enough that you can actually start
branching
out a little bit.
Which is a pretty great position to be in.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
At about 36,000 square feet for the whole facility, offices, tasting room, manufacturing area. Our tasting room is about 2,500 square feet of that. So we have this awesome tasting room. 10 beers on tap pretty much at any given time. You can, get a flight, go on a tour, do all that fun stuff, really learn about the beer and connect with the brand. We have really educated staff there at the tasting room. I think that's a real differentiator for us. The folks that are behind the bar really know about the beer and can tell you something about it. You can go to any restaurant in town and order a beer and, is it cold and wet? Sure, I'll take it. But here they're really there to educate, to kind of help bring our market up to speed with the rest of the country in terms of craft beer education. So,
right on. Yeah, you guys are leading this. You want to make sure that these people are drinking beer properly. They understand what they're drinking.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Right.
We've got that producer-consumer interaction. It's like, enjoy this beer. It's like it was made in that tank right there. Come see how we dry hop our beer or how we run our beers through a centrifuge. So you can't really duplicate that anywhere outside your own building. So it's really an opportunity for us to show them how we brew our beer, what makes us different, educate them, and kind of help them on their journey to drinking different beer and help them find what they enjoy the best.
Man, that's awesome. That is awesome. And so wait, who's brewing?
Harvey. He's our chief brewer.
Harvey?
So Harvey Kinney, he's been brewing lager pretty much all over the world for the past 10 years, or the 10 years before we found him. Building breweries all over the world. He's brewed in Turkey, Australia, Mexico. and really was ready to
Golly,
come
he's
back.
traveled, yeah.
He's been
Yeah.
all over the place.
Ready to come back to the United States. He got his formal brewing education at UC Davis and in California, and
Okay. Yeah.
very smart dude.
So he's not playing around.
No, absolutely not. So we knew we wanted to bring that level of quality from day one to our brewery. So we brought him in. He helped us build the facility, helped us take our
Nice.
homebrew recipes and
Everything.
really scale them up. And yeah, so now we've got a couple of guys from the UC Davis program on our staff. So we've been able to build really a world-class team. But yeah, I mean, we were realistic starting the company about all the things that have to go into it. You know, you have to sell the beer, you got to, run the day-to-day operations, grow the company, and to do all that and brew the beer was kind of unrealistic. So we took our vision, some of Andrew's homebrew recipes, and really worked with Harvey to scale them up, because you don't know what you don't know. You brew at home, but brewing on a 20-barrel brew house, it's a completely different
700
ballgame.
gallons at
It's
a
a
time versus 5
different
is
monster, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, fair enough.
We take that stuff seriously. We've got a saying around the brewery that the most expensive beer we can make is a bad beer, because that's our reputation. So it doesn't happen too often, but we've definitely had instances where we'll drop a tank, we'll put it down the drain if it doesn't meet these, sensory and quality standards.
Right
It's
on.
not a fun day. But we all, understand that's our reputation, and sometimes it has to happen.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Man, so you've got a good team. You've
We
got
do.
a really good team.
Got about 23 people across the company doing a variety of things. Probably about 12 of those are full time, and then a handful of folks in the tasting room helping us, keep
Run
that place
bar,
running.
run
Yeah,
the play.
but
Right on.
we're doing fun things like this, talking about beer on the radio. There's got to be somebody there keeping the place running.
That's
So,
fair. That's fair. So
Yeah.
people can go to the brewery
That's
right now,
right.
yeah, if they
That's
wanted
right.
to.
In
It's still
Shreveport.
open. It's
That's
still
right.
rocking and rolling.
Yeah, till
Urban.
about 9:30. So.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
Guys, yeah, if you can't make it over here today, there you go. There's a plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you've got 2 UC Davis guys. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a really
Whoa.
Yeah. So the quality
What else
that
do they bring into this?
a lot of experience, right? We've in textbook experience in terms of quality and looking at our yeast and looking at each fermentation in tanks and understanding how we're cleaning our tanks and how we're packaging our beer. So that's not something we just say. It's not like we have a guy that cleans kegs and runs the quality program. It's one guy that runs. Yeah. So and we've done that from day one. We've had a dedicated full-time person from the first tank that we brewed. So yeah, that's just, I mean, it matters. It absolutely matters to know what's going on in terms of fermentation and all these different things. It's important. It absolutely is.
Well, I think it's reflected, I think the team has, the team that we're hiring from the local community, and they're learning about beer. They're passionate about it. They want to learn more. They can lean on this experience from these people who have been formally trained. So I think it's great to do some cross-training. But, I mean, I think it's really reflected the most in, the quality of the beer. We've been able to bring some awards home for some of the beers that we brew. So, we're really proud, to have that, stamp of approval that says, yeah, these guys know what they're doing, and they're making great beer. And we're really excited to be able to bring that to Shreveport and give Shreveport something a beer to be really proud about.
Right on. Well, so you mentioned award. Like, I know that Grace and Grit party here
That's
at the
right.
Monk. Is that so? That's not y'all's first award.
No, so I mean it's actually our 3rd year in a row to win. So yeah, we actually just got a gold medal for the double IPA East Coast double IPA category to have it, and it's super fresh. I mean this was packaged on the 14th. And
Nice.
I think the keg you have actually was kegged off on the 19th. So really, really fresh, and we're excited to drink some double IPA with you guys tonight.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun. Well, and do we want to talk about some of the others this stuff that
Sure.
we're seeing
Yeah.
day in and day out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Gracie Grit's a kind of a on and off again. It's not a seasonal, but it's not a flagship. It's just kind of when we have the tank space and the hops to do it. But the other 3 are our flagships year round. These are 3 that we started with that continue to be our core, if you will, year round. So Southern Draw is a Pilsner. There's a Pilsner that we brew with Louisiana rice. So we grow a lot of rice in Louisiana. So we add rice to this one to really dry it out, make it super crisp and clean, easy drinking, and then we dry hop it. It's a subtle hint of American hops.
little kick.
Yeah, just to give it like its own personality, not just a boring industrial macro lager. It's just craft lager, it's got a little bit of edge to it. So that's Southern Draw. Another lager is Reasonably Corrupt, our black lager. So it's great. Reasonably Corrupt the name is a jab at Louisiana politics.
Oh yes.
So
Yes.
just,
There it is.
just corrupt enough to get things of a stout, but it's not going to drink near as heavy. So
Right.
you can still drink it when it's obviously as hot as it gets down here.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
And last but not least is our Commotion American Pale Ale.
faves.
This is
There
a
it
pale ale
is.
that we dry hop like an IPA. So you get it's a very hoppy beer, but not a very bitter beer. I think sometimes people confuse those things as being one and the same. They're definitely not with this beer at least. So very hoppy, but not necessarily very bitter.
Right on.
So those are our 3 flagships that we do year round.
Well, and have you won awards for these as well?
Not that particular contest or the U.S. Beer Open.
But I mean, in general,
like multiple years in a row. I mean, best beer in Shreveport.
Sure, yeah, local stuff. These beers are very hard to put in a specific style because the Germans are going to hate us for putting American hops in that. The Germans are also going to dislike us because we put roasted barley in this. It gives you that nice coffee flavor. And this is just, it doesn't fit anywhere. So, we don't necessarily always brew to style, and a lot of the competitions are very stylistic. But that's what makes, it's America. We can do what we want.
Well, but you're getting recognition for this stuff, and that's what's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's really all about having the right team around you because you can have a vision. But you have to be able to execute on that. And people forget, it is a business. We can just sit at home and, make our favorite beers, but you also have to be able to sell them. So I think we've found a nice middle ground of beers that are approachable. Like Andrew said, the South is not ready for all the crazy styles of beer on a regular basis. They're fun to drink as one-offs, but you're not going to be able to make a business out of that.
A regular
right. So we
production
do some of those beers. We're really excited. We've got a fun Belgian program that we kicked off. The beer styles of beer that we really love, but these are the beers that pay the rent.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But we love them too. We don't love them any less. You love all your
all equally.
Right?
We started writing the lager brewery because that's what we really enjoy. Lager. Can't do it all. Who says we can't? We kind of evolved into doing a little bit of everything because we didn't want to kind of pigeonhole ourselves into being one specific brewery. Let's just have some fun with all these different styles because we do truly enjoy all of them.
Right on. Well, and so you mentioned Belgian styles. And you mentioned a sour program.
Sure.
Do we want to go into this a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah.
So something we can talk about?
So sour beers are really interesting that they do not get along with anybody but themselves. So in our first two years, we did classic clean lager and trying to perfect these flagships. But we always had some of these styles and these recipes in the back of our head. So about a year ago, we built a sour program that's kind of off to the side. It's got dedicated hoses, boots, and all these things to keep completely separate because they are very nasty.
Because if you have any contamination, that's everything else is ruined at that point.
We're not running sours through our canning line. Put it that way.
Yeah, that's fair.
But we've got about 30 to 40 barrels over there, wine barrels, some Pinot, these Chardonnay barrels, all these different barrels that we age beer anywhere from 4 to 8 months to pick up these kind of wine-like tart characteristics. We'll add fruit to some of them.
Right on.
And then we've got a 30-barrel fooder, which is the only fooder in the state, actually. So a fooder is just this massive oak barrel. It's roughly 15 feet tall for long-term aging of beers. Very old technique that we borrowed from the Belgians. Just a fun way to do some of these tart, sour, fruited, classic Belgian styles.
Right on. And, dude, that's cool to hear you were the first in Louisiana to get a fooder.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, well, I need a couple dozen more, but we'll figure that out.
That's the fun of growth.
That's right.
Yeah, you always have to get more just to keep up with market, right?
Yeah, those beers take forever. Even like some of these lagers we do are 45, 60-day lagers. The quickest sour can get out is maybe 4 to 5 months.
Oh, really?
So you put them in these barrels, and it's like, well.
And then you're blending over, trying to figure out the right.
Yeah, and
ratio.
you check it every day, and you're not every day, but you're waiting to see when that beer will turn to the perfect and aged where you want it.
I would check it every day.
Yeah,
that'd be my problem. Just first thing in the morning.
Yeah, it's definitely.
There wouldn't be much left at the end.
It's empty, but these beers definitely have their own character, and over time will evolve into their own beast. So it's definitely fun and very different from this program. This is very much our artistic, expression.
That's the crazy,
the
wild, the experimental.
Sours,
This is the tried and true. You know what you're going to get every time.
We're trying to achieve the same thing with this. This is very much more of a creative outlet.
Right on. Well, and are we going to see any of that stuff in Texas? Or?
Yeah, I think so. So
Yeah?
we got a mixed firm saison, a dry hop mixed firm saison that was approved this week with state of Texas. So we'll start to kind of move some of that stuff over here and introduce some of those styles and see what you folks think.
Man, that's awesome. Can we release names at all?
Yeah, so that one particularly is so we got 2 that have been approved in Texas. One is the one I just mentioned. It's called Farmhouse Slang, which is a Brett saison that's been dry hop. We change the dry hop every time.
Nice.
Just keep it interesting. And the second one is 100% Brettanomyces IPA. So Brettanomyces is a different type of yeast that kind of gives it a funky, definitely unique style characteristics to it. So those 2 are approved, and we're going to start trickle some of those over here.
Nice.
Give them out to you guys.
So are we looking a little more barnyardy funky, a little more sour on that Brett IPA?
On the Brett, more fruit. So Brett, as
Really?
people always get old, typically you don't see a whole lot of fresh Brett. So when Brett is fresh, you can get some nice fruit characteristics, and sometimes you might not even know it's a Brett beer.
Really?
So this
Awesome.
layered, soft funkiness with fruit on top of American hops is great.
And there's some of that beer around town.
Already?
Oceans Between Us is what that beer is called, and there's been some kegs that have hit the market. We haven't had any bottles come over yet, but we have seen some kegs as part of kind of our rollout into the DFW area. So those are still floating around a little bit, but more to come for sure.
Right on. Very cool.
Yeah.
Man, that's going to be exciting to see that. That's going to be
They're
super
fun. And
exciting.
Oceans Between Us is a single hop beer as well. So we changed the hop on that one each time as well.
Oh, nice.
Just to showcase a new, let's just have some fun with it.
Yeah, whatever hop variety you
Yep.
get a hold of, right?
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, what you guys are so freaking close. You're like 3 hours away,
Yeah.
if that.
Yeah, not far at all.
I mean, if I have a radar detector, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours away.
That's pushing it.
Okay, fine. Now there's a challenge. I will come with a stopwatch
That's
to tell you.
fine.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
What's going on at the brewery? Do you have anything big coming up? You got any parties going on?
Yeah, we have things going on all the time. Our brewery's open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 to 9.
Yeah.
And then Saturday from 12 to 9, we're doing free tours on Saturday at 1, 2, and 3.
Nice.
Always have a food truck there and lots of different beers available to try. But the one thing that we really look forward to every year is the Ramble. So that's our anniversary party. And this year we're going to be celebrating our 4th year. So we'll be 4 in October.
4 years.
Yeah, we're excited about that. And we're on October 21st. We usually have 40 to 50 beers for the Ramble. We're going to try and up it this year.
Yes.
Try and outdo ourselves every year with more and more beers, more varieties.
That is awesome.
So
Fruited sours that we've been sitting on. We've got some barrel-aged Pappy Van Winkle stuff that we've been sitting on.
What?
Some Heaven Hill. We've got some.
That is
We got
awesome.
some bourbon stuff that
really
we
awesome.
release for those special events. So it's always a fun time.
So if you guys want to try some rare stuff here,
Great Raft
you-
Ramble, October 21st.
October 21st. There we
right.
go. Oh, man, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
That is going to be really awesome.
Yeah.
And so what else is going on? What other parties?
That's the main thing. The party at the Bearded Monk tonight. We're going to
Oh,
shotgun
yeah,
some
that's
beer.
right. We're partying tonight.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of parties tonight, you guys are in town.
That's
The
right.
owners are here. You need some help, don't
We
you?
do. So, I mean, if
Yeah?
you like partying and drinking beers at the Bearded Monk and talking about beer for a living, we're trying to, build our brand in this area, and we really want to get some help, the right fit for the company, our culture, and somebody who really knows what they're talking about with beer but wants to learn and grow with a young company. So we're looking for a sales rep here in the DFW area to help us achieve our goals here.
Right on.
Yeah, it's not a bad life.
No, it's a great time.
Yeah.
Drink your beer.
You have to drink beer and party? Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
You have to talk about beer?
Hang out with
Yeah.
cool people.
How many
and
of us
stuff
do
like
that
this.
Right.
anyway? Like, come on.
It's gonna happen anyway.
Preferably
Yeah.
looking for somebody with a little bit of experience, already kind of knows a little something about the Dallas beer market, kind of
Right on.
somebody who's really passionate about beer and just really wants to make a living out of it. So, I
freaking
don't,
awesome.
we don't want to have to teach anybody sales or teach anybody beer, but if it's already part of what you're doing, let's just put them together and make it happen.
And come on
Yeah.
over. Yeah, that's
right.
perfect.
Join the
Cool.
party.
If somebody can't make it tonight,
Yeah.
and they say they can't make it out to the brewery, and they can't be there for the 4-year anniversary, how would they contact y'all about that?
Well, our website has a lot of great information, including a beer map, which can tell you where you can find our beers.
Oh, nice.
Pretty much any market we're in. So
Right on.
that's a very useful tool. We do our best to keep it updated. But also just, our website has our email address. You can shoot us a Facebook message. We're the ones who manage that right now. So,
Nice.
When you message us, you're getting one of us for the most part. So,
So if I just send a, hey, what's up? You guys doing good? I
Yeah.
know it's you guys.
We'll get it.
it's
Yeah.
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
So, yeah, that's really the best way. info@greatraftbrewing.com or our website or our
Facebook
Facebook
message.
page. Yeah.
Perfect.
Lots of
Well,
options.
guys,
Yeah.
thank you for coming in today.
Thanks
This
for
has been
having us.
awesome.
Happy to be in Denton.
Do
Beautiful
some,
Denton.
do
Cheers.
some more drinking, right?
Cheers.
So yeah, we're gonna hang out here for another couple of hours and do Free Beer Friday, and then we're headed back to the Monk to party and drink some of the Grace and Grit.
That's right.
So come on down, come join us, try some beers.
We're here.
for free. Meet Andy and Lindsay. We're gonna hang out, and then if you can't make it down here, let's go party. Yeah. I guess until next week.
Yeah.
Bye guys.
Cheers, y'all.
We'll see you later.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out DentonRadio.com for new Denton artists and where they're playing next. While you're surfing the internet, make sure you check out our friends Classic of Denton at ClassicofDenton.com.